All right, so basically I'm a Chris Haueter. I teach Jiu-Jitsu and have for a long time. And from my perspective, I chase the art now. I'm 60, which I can't even believe I'm this freaking old, but I am. And when I turned 50, I sat down and had lunch with Hicks and Gracie and went over my agenda, how I'm going to grow in this art, because I hated competing still with those 5-minute sprints as an old black belt in IBJJF matches. Hickson hated it too. And I set my course for a whole new journey in jiu-jitsu. And I like to categorize everything in threes. Fight start standing. There's the clinch. There's the ground. And every aspect has threes. I'm not going to go over everything, but in brief, as a grappler, you got to get to the clinch so you could get the fight on the ground. And back in the olden days, that was the challenge, is we knew once we got a hold of you, we could win the fight. But it's getting a hold of you is the hard part. And a lot of guys try to learn kickboxing or Muay Thai and all that, and I did all that, but basically I've come back down to original classical, what I'm going to call my interpretation of Hickson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, how I enter. Now, Hickson will often stand with his writing hand, dominant hand in the lead, whereas I put mine in the back, but it's basically the same stance. And one of the things that new people mess up all the time is they move robotically and stiff. And the key to the jiu-jitsu is to relax, find the flow and the frame and the weight distribution. Another one of my threes. So I want to have my hands, as a general rule, a rule that once you learn, you get to break it, is my hands can't go below my eyes. My hands are high. I don't want to box like this. I want to box like this. And I'm bringing my hands out and my head and hips back. I want to keep my opponent away. And most of my entries, I'm thinking there's the high range, the middle range, and the low range. And if I'm going to enter low, I want to fake high. And if I'm going to enter high, I'm going to fake low, as a general rule. While my hands are up, if I'm boxing here, I'm going to draw my opponent towards me, like move how you fight. But when I'm here, I'm drawing him away, and I'm keeping me back. And I'm keeping that awareness of not moving into grappler mode, which is what we'll do, because you will adjust your game to the rules that you fight by. And most grappling these days, people do it like this. Because if I stand up like this, he's going to grab my ankle. But one of the first drills we do is I'm going to stand here and let him attempt to attack my ankle. And instead of bending down and adjusting, I am going to change levels. So as he goes, I change, but I don't bend at the waist. I bend at the knees, so as he attacks, I'm adjusting. And I'm watching how his head moves. To do it again a couple times. He's moving his head slightly closer. This is where I want to attack his head. So as he goes, I'm reaching for his head. My hands are high. He thinks they can remain high. And I'm working on, go ahead, take that bait. And I want to catch his head. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my hips are before my nose. Once I learn the rule again, I can break it. And I'm keeping my lead leg ready to take a step on the knot of his belt. And as soon as I get movement from him, I could start to enter. And the general entry, the drills we do, his hands are here. I'm going to close them because I don't want to jam my fingers. I want to feel where, not like I'm boxing, but like I want to make closing a connection on his hands. Then I'm working to move in and get my rear leg in. And again, although I'm right-handed, I generally have a left lead until the clinch happens. So if he attacks me, I want him to, go ahead, clinch me up. Then I change leads. Now in cloth grappling is very different from no-gi grappling. And I love no-gi. And I love the art of Greco, which is basically no-gi judo. And judo is the cloth art of the upright throw. Greco is the no-cloth art of the upright throw. And generally speaking, Most people grapplers will lead with their right hand. And I have this weird thing where I start left, and then I often end up changing leads as I clinch. I want to feel where we tend to instinctively pull with our arms and strength. I want to feel where I pull with my hip. I want to feel not my arm doing this, but my hip. My hip controls my grip. So one of the things I say all the time is hips before grips. Then he's got my grip and he will feel how he can pull. And I got to feel my base pull. And I'm almost like I'm grounding myself into the ground. I'm not going to stiffen up because pull, I'm going to get stiff. I fall. Instead, I'm going to absorb the earth. Pull. And I'm feeling and I'm adjusting. Pull. Pull hard. Pull hard. And I can adjust the base. And I want to monitor my opponent's elbow. I'm not grabbing cloth right here and hitting because he can just yank his arm away. Yank your arm away. Ouch, that hurts my fucking hand. Instead, I'm monitoring his elbow, and because he's wearing cloth, I grab it. Yank his hand away. I'm controlling his elbow, and I'm grounding into him, which is my interpretation of what Hickson often calls a connection. I'm connecting me to my opponent and us to the ground. So I'm feeling the connection where he pushes and pulls, and I want to push and pull me a little bit. And when I'm stiff, even if I'm in a good stance, push and pull, I'm going to fall. But when I root in the ground like a palm tree in a hurricane, and he pushes and pulls, I'm adjusting to it. Yank me around, yank me all over, push. And I'm almost like I'm letting my feet kind of slide. And I want to feel where my independent hips, my independent head and hands, when I enter, I'm not entering with my whole body. I'm entering with my hips. My hips are entering because I got to get it, what we call in Greco, a penetrating step. So if I do this, I'm pushing him back. If I do this, I'm penetrating. And then a lot of drills, we work in my threes. There's high, middle, low. There's the horizontal axis, vertical axis, open and shut, sag and lift, pull and punch and pull here. And I want to get him to take steps, known steps. Now, if I'm just holding him without the connection, he can kick me easily. But when I connect to him, kick me. I want it where he cannot raise a foot easily. Or I want him light on his feet. And then as he adjusts, that's when I enter. And I'm trying to get connection to the inner thigh in here. Then I can hook in, take down, cross hook, clinch, throw.